today's masterclass is about understanding movement progressions. And there's a few different ways that movement progressions are created. And the first has to do with gravity. So is gravity acting on you? This is your legs, hips, and your head should be here from top to bottom, stacked like this, or is gravity acting on you like this, where you're looking face down and it's pulling you this way? Or is it acting on you like this, where you're facing up and gravity's pulling down on you? All of these different positions recruit different muscles in different ways. And so depending on the position you start yourself in, you could be making things more or less difficult for yourself. And that could be the reason why things trigger. You feel like you can't do an exercise. You feel like you can't get past something. And if we change the position, we change gravity, we change the use of bands and resistance, those are all going to change. And then the other piece of it is starting centered. So your ability to maintain stability. And then there's your ability to actually start moving as well. So we'll get into all that. One other thing I wanted to show before we get into that today is, I'll use my head here, is an interesting case I just had that just happened earlier today with the patient. I wanted to share it. This patient is a 18-year-old or 17-year-old girl who's had persistent pain right here on the side of her eye. Migraine, feels like it's a migraine, and the pain just comes right here. It's been going on for 3 years, and it happened around the same time she got braces. And they had been to every single dentist. They've been to all these pain management specialists. They had nerve blocks to the supraorbital nerve, which is a nerve that goes to the eye. And then another nerve also that goes to the eye, which, by the way, are all branches of the trigeminal nerve. They went to the dentist. They got an appliance to stop clenching. The dentist said it can't be your TMJ because you don't have clicking and popping and shifting. She had, done strategies for the neck and posture. So they came to see me just like 2 weeks ago. And I went through my evaluation. I looked through everything, all the stuff that you got to do in the program, the neck, the jaw, how the different aspects are interacting with each other. Gave her strategies to go home with. She came back. She said, I did it for 4 days. I was fine. Monday I had like this flare up. Everything's really irritated through here. I said, okay. I poked around. I said, I think this is coming from the neck or a clenching pattern. So we started looking into it. I still wasn't sure at the time why her pain went from her eye, which is always present, to her muscles here. And so I figured maybe she is clenching. Oh, she had a sleep study too, and it said that she's not clenching at all. So I said, it seems like a clenching pattern and all that pain. I said, maybe the neck is compressed. So there's that. And so I'm going through and I'm trying to, so at this point in my mind, I'm starting to wonder, is this just a migraine pattern that it's just referring to the eye just internally, because she's had a lot of stuff checked. Nothing's worked for what I've done. It's only been a session, but still. So I said, let me get in there and take a look at the jaw. So I put my hand on her jaw like this. And I started mobilizing her jaw where the disc is. I started doing these different mobilizations. It's like a superior compartment one, a retrodiscal tissue one. And in the middle of doing that, she goes, my eyes, every time I do that, my eye gets worse. So let me try that again. Push like this, push like this. Every time I do it, my eye's getting worse. I'm like, is this the exact pain that you've had for 3 years? She said, yeah. I said, have you ever done anything where you've been able to reproduce it to show that, hey, that's what's causing my pain? She's like, we've never been able to reproduce it ever. It's just always present. Nothing that I've ever done has made it worse. So I just started going again. Boom, boom. I started now like narrowing it down to what part of the disc. Long story short, her TMJ is causing this eye pain. And they haven't, for 3 years, they've been completely confused. So is it a migraine? Is it my neck, my jaw? The dentist says it can't be your neck. The TMJ, the neurologist says it can't be your neck, your jaw. The dentist, the neurologist, the pain management specialist, it's not your jaw. Forget about the jaw. And then I came in, did a couple of my mobilization. It was the only time something was ever able to make her eye worse. So it's just like, that's a concrete pattern right there. So now I'm going to write that up. I'm going to send to the specialist, show them what I did. And I told her from there, now we need to start rehabilitating the jaw. And if she really wants to double down, she can inject the TMJ with cortisone and try a nerve block to it. And if one of those makes the pain totally go away, then we're like even more certain that it's coming from the TMJ. And the important thing to understand here is, and this is why I built the program in this way, they had the imaging. So they had the MRI of the neck, of the TMJ. They had the CBCT scan. They were trying to get imaging of the temporal sound. They had all this information, but it didn't mean anything. It didn't mean anything because it's like, oh, your neck is a little bit like this. That could be it. Your jaw is a little bit like this. That could be it. The tendonitis is in this area. That could be it. But until you actually sit there and say, I'm going to do this and this, does that make it better, worse, or the same? I'm going to do this and this. Does that make it better, worse, or the same? And you work through your list, that's all that matters. How your body responds to movement. Does it make it better? Great, we'll keep doing it. Does it make it worse? Okay, we'll change it. But that tells us that the problem is right there. Or is it keep it the same, or we should make changes? And that's the process. Like, so the reason why the healthcare industry doesn't do that is because that takes time. Think about how much time it takes. We're going to test the neck. We're going to test the jaw. We're going to test this. We're going to test that. So it's like, but in the medical industry, they want to send you somewhere else. They want to get imaging and then come back and say, okay, I think this is it. But they don't want to like move stuff and say, try this for a week and come back. And that's what I found to work. And so for everyone in this program, it's the same way the program is built. People come in and they say, my jaw hurts here, my neck hurts here, and this happens here. Like, what are the custom exercises I should do? And my response a lot of the time is follow the program. You're going to go through level 1, and then you're going to go through level 2. And if for some reason we can't, something is irritating you, what is that? And then we'll make a modification. Okay, keep going. This is making you better? Keep going with the program. So it's all about understanding patterns with your body. Better, worse, or the same. And not introducing too many variables like I always talk about. Not getting carried away with, but I have arthritis here and this here and this here. Let's just introduce something and see how your body responds. It's what I've found to work. It's what will work for you. It's not getting too excited and chasing this shiny object. It's simple processes over and over until the information reveals itself and being consistent. So anyway, that was pretty cool for me today because the mom, I was trying not to get too excited for them because, you never know what's going to happen. But the mom, like before she left, she was like, we've been trying to figure this out for 3 years. And again, all I did was just go through processes. So anyway, all that's in the program for you guys too. And that's the same way that I interact with you guys and the same way the program's built to allow you guys to learn. All right, so I hope I didn't ramble there, but I just thought that was important. All right, now let's talk about movement progressions. So when it comes to movement progressions, there's a couple different things that are important here. And I'm actually going to share my screen for this piece of it. So I'm going to do this live with you guys. So not working. All right. So when a baby's born, you guys didn't expect that. When a baby is born, what happens is they go through movement progressions. And the first one is actually mobility. So just the baby's ability to start moving, just literally turning the head and moving. So that's called mobility. The next thing is called stability, where they start doing things like going to their stomach and being able to hold one position like this, hold another position like this, hold their head up even further in a position like this. It's called stability. Are you stable? Can you simply hold a position? And once a baby builds stability through there, they go through the next piece, which is called controlled mobility, which I'm going to show you guys here. So controlled mobility. So we have a baby who lays down, right? And they just start creating some movement. That's stability. Mobility is now, they start getting to different positions. I'm sorry, that was mobility. Stability is now, I can hold myself in this position. I can hold myself like this. I can hold myself up. I can hold myself here. It's stability. You're stable. But once you have the ability to maintain a position with stability, the baby then moves into controlled mobility, which means that part of the body, like the neck, is still stable. It still has that stability. You're still able to hold positions, but now it's controlled mobility because you see the baby start doing things like this: weight shifting, forward and back, leaning, trying to figure out how to move within that posture. So you start by the baby starts by just moving, right? Then they get to a position where like, wow, I can hold a posture now. Now they start saying, I can actually shift around, or someone could push me a little bit and I can actually hold that position. That's controlled mobility. And then from there, we go into something called skill. So the baby starts moving. Then it builds stability to hold positions. Now, while they hold that position, they can actually start shifting around. They can start, like I said, controlled mobility, shifting around. And the last thing is they start trying to reach for things. They start trying to shift. They start trying to become more mobile. So they start doing things like this. They start doing things like reaching, shifting, getting up like this, right? So now they start adding skill in. And what you notice about this pattern is that it starts centralized and it moves outward. And then what they do is another position is actually getting to like a squat position where they can hold this. So again, in this position, just as another example, stability would be the ability to hold this position. Mobility would be the ability to shift within this position, controlled mobility. And then skill is I can walk off screen. That's what happens. So again, in neuro rehab, this is what we learn: mobility, stability, controlled mobility, skill. And when I built this program, that is the exact same way that I built it for you. We have people who have jaw pain. We have people who have neck pain, headaches and dizziness trigger. The ears are getting involved, the eyes. If I exercise, it triggers me. If I do too much laundry, it triggers me. If I walk and turn my head, it triggers me. We need to break things back down to this level and build it back up. And it goes back to how I introed this call with that patient, with that young girl, about let's bring it back down to the basics that we know work and then build out from there. And so when we look at everyone's program here, I want you to think about the movements. Okay. I want you to think about, let me share my screen and let's just actually visualize some of the things that happen in the program, and you'll have a better understanding of why. So I'm going to pull this up here. I'll answer the questions at the end also, but I really want everyone to understand this. Two, okay? You're laying down and you're picking your head up. It's simple, okay? It's a small little movement. Or, so we'll start with that one. If we then jump to what we're starting to see in level 6, right? Now it's like you're not just bringing your head up and down. Now within that position, you're actually shifting and turning and moving through the rotations. And then if we go all the way to level 9, now you're starting to see that you're moving the upper body and the head. You're rotating the entire body. We have weekly movements where now your arms are moving. This is now that, so we can basically look at, this is, kind of like a stability / controlled mobility. This is now more of a controlled mobility moving into skill. This is definitely skill because the upper extremities are moving. And when we move into progressive body control, we're doing things like kicking and moving the entire arm. So we go from a position where it's just the head with small movement and then going through here. So if this flares you up, we can take you back to something much simpler where the arms just move, but the head is just the arms move instead of the legs move. Or if the arms moving is too much, we can just move the head against gravity and sitting. And if that hurts too much, we can kick you back to here. So everything is intentionally programmed so that we can move up and down throughout the levels. And this is really, really important because a lot of people that come to me, the movements that break them free are ones that they may have tried years ago, you know, but it just wasn't done in the right order. So it flared them. They got scared. Their body got protective. And then everything started hurting. And then they're like, I'm out. I don't know what's going on here. This is really important. So understanding that concept of stability, mobility. I'm going to present at the end and show you guys. Stability, controlled mobility, and skill is critical. Okay. Now let's talk about something else. We want to talk about how gravity impacts all these positions because it's actually something totally different now. So when we want to take a movement or an exercise and make it more difficult, we need to use force. So the forces that we can use are gravity or a band or a weight. We could just say resistance. That would be bands or weights or gravity. Okay. So let me give you an example of what that might mean if we're trying to strengthen, for example, the neck. Okay. So if I'm trying to strengthen the neck, one thing that I can do is I can lay down right here like this. If I wanted to work on rotation, right now my head is resting against the ground, right? When I do this, I'm resisting gravity. When I'm sitting up, gravity's trying to pull me down. I have to hold myself up. When I do this, gravity's just trying to pull on the table. The table's stable, and I'm just relaxed on it. So we can work on doing things like rotating on the table or doing little chin tucks like this on the table. We're activating the muscles, but we're not having to fight against this constant force of gravity trying to pull us down. We don't need to fight against it because we just rest our head on the table. Okay. Now, so that was basically as close to gravity eliminated as we can get. We eliminate gravity, and now suddenly everything's a lot easier. Okay. That's gravity eliminated. Next, we want gravity to only act a little tiny bit. So now when I'm sitting here, gravity is pulling on my head, right? So I want to be working those rotations, maybe even up and down. Gravity at this point is stacking top to bottom. So while, yes, it's acting on me, all of these bones and discs are stacked. So they're absorbing a lot of the force of gravity. So even though it's making my muscles work, I don't have to work that hard because I'm here. Whereas if I was leaned forward, so gravity's pulling me here, the stacking of my spine supports a lot of the load. When you're in an angle like this and gravity starts pulling, now you really have to use muscles to fight again. So that's why a nice simple progression after laying could be working on rotating and sitting. Just nice controlled movement and sitting. You can even work a little bit tilting up and down. Gravity's acting on you, but it's minimal. And it gives you time to adapt to these movements. So now you're saying, okay, I was able to move without gravity acting on me. Then I was able to move with gravity acting on me just a little bit. How do I really make gravity fight against me? Well, that's when we can do something like this. We can now take this movement where we come to here, hands and knees. What's gravity trying to do now? Pull my head down. So if I don't use muscles, my head's going to be like this. It's going to create compression and irritation from the jaw all the way to the neck and shoulders. So to even begin the rotating, I need to use my muscles to hold this position. So now my muscles that fight against gravity are working the entire time. And now I'm working to rotate through that force of gravity. So now even when I turn here, gravity is trying to push me back down this way, and I have to fight against it. So that rotation is huge in that position. You can even say, okay, what about looking up now? Oh yeah, because gravity's trying to pull me this way, And I had to fight against it the whole time. So now we're working against gravity like this. And those are ways that we can leverage gravity. Now, what else can we do? Let me grab something. So what is gravity? It's a force. We don't need to get into quantum physics here, but gravity is just a force. Put this back. So we can create our own version of gravity with a band too. So there's a difference between a band and gravity, and one difference only. I can't change gravity unless you have some superpower, right? Superman could fly around the earth and reverse. Oh, that was time. You can't change gravity though. So as soon as you go into this position, does anyone remember the equation for gravity? Square root of like 18.02, something like that. I don't remember. But gravity pulls your head down. You can't change gravity. Gravity's going to pull what gravity's going to pull. Okay? That's all it's going to do. So when you're going from a progression of sitting here, so we had laying down where gravity doesn't act on you, sitting where it acts a little bit, and then hands and knees where gravity acts. If we want more force than sitting, but not as much force as gravity, we can use bands because we can change the force of bands. So if let's just arbitrarily say that the force of gravity here is a 1 out of 10, and when I'm on my hands and knees, I'm a 10 out of 10. There's no, well, technically you could actually change the force of gravity by doing this. So when gravity acts on you down here in this position, because again, we're getting kind of physicsy here, but my face is oriented this way. Gravity is this way, so it's a perpendicular force. And that's the strongest gravity could ever be. If I wanted to make this a little bit less intense when I move, what you could do is actually go into a 45-degree angle like this, and then work rotation. Because now I'm oriented in an angle like this, and gravity is like this. So it doesn't have that same force, right? Because if you're oriented like this, gravity pushes straight down, right? But when you're oriented like this, gravity loses some of its force, so it won't be as strong. So actually, you can play with angles like this before you get to something like this, okay? So that's one way you could do it, but not all exercises are created equal, so sometimes it's hard to like figure out the angle. But if you do think about some of the movements in the program, I do start you on angles. So for example, this table protractions, I could have had you do this on the floor, like in a push-up position, but that would have been so hard. So I made it easier by putting you on an angle here. Okay, so just so you kind of see like a real life example of that. Now, I'm really good at being long-winded at answers to things, but basically, if sitting up is a 1 out of 10, being like this is a 10 out of 10, right? We want to find somewhere in the middle. Let's use a band, because with the band, I can just reduce the tension on it. I can take this band, and instead of pulling it really tight, which might even be stronger than gravity, I can just add a little tension to it. As soon as there becomes tension in it, okay, cool. My earbuds are going to fall out. But I can tuck, and I can rotate against the band now. And I can tolerate this for a few days. And then I can progress. And then I can progress to against gravity. So that's the key here. I'm going to put that down for you guys too. So you see, when if you have an exercise that's too hard or it creates flare-ups and you don't know what to do, what we can do is we can change the force or how gravity acts against us. Okay. And there's a third way that we can change things, and it's called the IDF framework, so which is intensity, duration, and frequency. Okay. So if an exercise flares you up or irritates you, you can change the intensity. So you can change the gravity position would be an intensity. So you can do a weaker band. Okay, so it's not as intense. You could change your position so it's not as intense. You can also impact the duration. So how many reps you do, how long you hold something, or the frequency, which is instead of every day, you do it every other day. Instead of 3 times a day, you do it once a day. Instead of 3 times a week, you do it once a week. Okay. So if you have a flare up, what I like to do is think about it as intensity, duration, and frequency. The first thing I like to do is cut down the intensity. So if you were doing an exercise with the band, the first thing you do is go lighter with the band. See if you can tolerate that the next day. If that still doesn't cut it for you, then you can go to I don't fail, intensity, duration. So you cut down the duration. So less reps and less hold. So maybe instead of 3 sets of 10, you do 3 sets of 5, or you do 1 set of 5, or 2 sets of 5, or instead of a 30-second hold, you do a 10-second hold. Okay. And if it's a pulling one, you would have already first done the intensity. So instead of a full pull, you do a light pull, which is the same as instead of a strong band, you do a light band. That didn't work. Then instead of 3 sets of 10, you do 2 sets of 5. Instead of 3 sets of 30, you do 2 sets of 10. Okay. So you get your intensity, you get your duration. That's still not working for me. Then frequency. Instead of doing it, if it's a recurring exercise 6 times a day, maybe cut it down to 3, cut it down to 2. You need to bring it all the way back down to the point where you feel you don't have any flare up. Now, what I like to do to make that a lot easier is to cut everything down by 50%. If you're really struggling, cut everything down. So it's like, I'm going to do half the reps. I'm going to have to do it half as often. I'm going to do half the intensity. That should get you to a point where you can pretty much tolerate the movement. And then you can build up from there. Okay, so then you can build up. All right, I can tolerate this. Then you build from bottom up. I'll do it more frequently. Okay, I'll do the holds a little bit longer. Okay, and now I'll make it more intense. So intensity, duration, and frequency, IDF. Now, this is something I talk about on the calls all the time. It's in some of the modules, but I'll probably make it more forward-facing, like as soon as you get into the program, to understand how to manage things. And so that's the way that I think about exercise progressions. That's the way it's in your program. That's the way I'm answering your questions. And that's the way you can think about it for yourself too. Okay. It's how are you moving your body? It's where is gravity in the equation? And it's what is the intensity, frequency, and duration of what I'm doing? And how can I manipulate that? I want to show you how this. Okay. I'm going to share my screen in a second. Is that helpful? Let me know in the chat or if that's helpful for you guys. So again, when we look at the progressions, we're looking at mobility, which is a baby laying there turning their head, stability, holding a position. Now you have the ability to move a little and hold a position. So now we can actually start learning how to control mobility by shifting our body around. And then skill is using our arms and legs. It's our extremities. When we think about what order to do exercise, how to build them, we want to do it without gravity. then a position where gravity acts on us a little bit, and then fully against gravity. And then we want to control how intense, so how strong the resistance or the pull is, how many reps and sets we do, which is the duration, and the frequency, how often we do it. And when we put all these together, that's what you guys are going through right now. But that's the way we make decisions about, I had a flare up, what should I do? What should I change? And in this pink box here is, in my experience, 95% plus of the reason people succeed or fail, like knowing the formula, learning, and again, controlling your variables. That's why I can't tell you how many people come into the program and they say, why aren't all the levels unlocked? I want to jump ahead. I want to be able to do whatever I want to do. Because if you came to me in person, right, let's say you bought a package from me and we were going to work together for 3 months, I wouldn't give you the whole program and be like, just do this for 3 months. What it would be is, do this for a week, let your body adapt, then you do this for a week, let your body adapt, then you do this for a week. By opening things up and letting people jump around, you're not going to use the formula that works. And if you don't want to get lost in this pink box, you control your variables. You don't try all new things. It's just the program. It's just the level. And then that's what these calls are for in the community. So I wanted to go into those progressions because I think it's important for people to understand. And so yeah, that's what I had for you guys today about just like explaining the progressions a little bit more. And now, if you guys have questions about that or your own questions, we still have about 20 minutes left. So we'll just be very efficient. Right now there's just one, but I'll leave about 5 minutes a question. So without further ado, let's go Sujatha. Oh, I can hear you now.
Yeah.
Hey, Sujatha.
Okay. So what's happening with me is like, you remember, like I told you last week that I'm going to start the headache and dizziness program from the week 1, level 1. So I'm actually like in week 1, level 1, like doing the basic, once again, like back to doing the basic chin tucks
Okay.
exercises. But, and also, like, you remember I told you that I have like a pain happening here in the crown on my back.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. That one, this part is like very sensitive, and like I keep getting the pain here, but I realize that it's not because of the exercises, regardless of exercise, whether I do or not. It's something like I do with my hand, like I scrub the dishes, or like wipe, or even like I close the car door, like open the door, close. Anything I do with my hand, this one gets impacted and I start feeling the pain here. So regardless of the exercises, the chin tucks, I think it's not like related to that one. So my thing is like, so now like I'm doing the level 1 first week exercises, right? So for this one, like I remember you told me to do exercises something different, like a stretch, which is like doing this, and also the levator scapula stretches.
Yeah.
So what do you want me to do? You want me to add this along with the week 1, level 1, or what do you want me to do? How to, or like stop the weekly exercises and focus on this, and then go back to the weekly exercises? Like, which one should I?
Well, the weekly exercises, you mean the daily or the weekly?
Daily, weekly.
Okay. I would rather you try to, as quickly as you can, incorporate them all together.
Together?
Like as quickly as you can get to it, like it's because just as it is designed in the program. Because I remember from our last conversation, as I understood it, you were going to start over, start clean, and just work through, right? Yeah. So those the daily start getting integrated in level 2. The weekly start getting integrated in level 5. Besides the muscle primers, and I just think you should just follow it just as such. I mean, I think it is interesting when you use your arm, that pain occurs because you're probably, again, have some type of stability weakness in here. So when you lift up, because remember the muscles that lift up, some of them, they attach right to the upper spine and head. You could be getting a compression, which is driving irritation here. So like when you lift up, you don't have this, you're falling into it. So you don't have that stability to hold a good position while lifting up. And that's what that phase one of the program really is built for.
Mm.
So does that answer your question though?
No, no, I didn't get it. Like, I mean, like, you know, I'm following the weekly exercises,
Yeah.
yeah,
You mean the levels, each level?
each level. And do you want me to incorporate, like, add the specific exercises for this pain along with that one, or like you want me to stop the first the daily weekly exercises and do just this? Like, I didn't get what you said.
I just want you to go into the program,
Okay.
level 2 this week, and just do what's there, and then do level 3 and just do it, and don't incorporate in any other of the movements that we talked about before. Let's just start it fresh,
Yeah.
and just work. And then if we need to add problem solving in, we can do that. But let's just, again, clean start with that piece of it.
Okay. I got it.
Okay.
Got it.
That's the best way that we're gonna do this
Okay. Yeah.
for
Because
where you're at.
that's what happens, like whenever I start the weekly, daily, and then I feel some other pain, maybe like the shoulder or the back or somewhere else like in the head or maybe like TMJ, and then I go back to the specific exercise and I don't know like whether to incorporate both, do together. I just do like one by one, and then I lose the track of the actual program itself, and then
But because you mean if an exercise like flares you up?
no, now it's not because of the exercise that flashed me up. No, some other activities like the daily activities which I
Yeah.
do that like triggers the pain. So okay, so now like I understand, I have to stick with the program, not to jump, and then like
Correct. And if you do have a flare up that you can't handle, you're going to stay on that week and work it until you can, and then go that level and then move to the next level.
okay, got it.
Okay.
Yeah, got it.
All right, cool. So just keep it up like that.
Thank you.
All right. You're welcome, Sujata. Esther?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hi,
Hey,
how are
Esther.
you?
Good.
Okay. Okay. For this week, I am thankfully doing much better. It's been 6 days since I hadn't had a headache. So
Okay,
that's good
good.
for me.
That's great.
But okay, I've been able to pinpoint which exercises make me flare up, not at the point that I get a headache, but to the point that I start, if I don't wake up in the morning with any pain at all in my body, and I do the peanut roll. I just got back to doing the peanut roll today because you substituted that for the suboccipital manual release, which
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
doesn't give me any pain or any flare-ups. So this morning I try to do the peanut roll, and that causes pain in my neck, and it causes pain right here in my shoulder blade.
I can't see you. I can't see you.
Okay, you can't see me.
No, no, no.
I can't. Um, can you see me now?
No, I can't actually.
I just don't want to take up all your time.
That's right.
I
Just
can.
try. Give it a minute. You could try for a minute.
Okay. I can see you, but I can't. Okay. I can't turn on the camera, but my question is,
It's okay. Yeah, keep going. If I don't have to see
um,
it, maybe I don't have to see it.
most of the exercises are not flaring me up. I can do them. It's been a month and more than a month and I'm still on level 2.
Mm-hmm.
Do you recommend me going on level 3?
You've
Even
been 6 days now and you've been able to go through everything.
Right.
Yeah, I would wait one more day for like a 7th day, and then maybe Friday start it.
Okay.
Get through seven days, and then yeah, absolutely go to the next one.
All right. So I can go to level 3. All right. On level 3,
That's right.
I just saw that you would need a foam roller.
Yes.
What can I use?
Okay, so
I get the foam roller?
you can level 3. So instead of the foam roller, you can use the towel roll too. Like you would need a couple towels and roll them really tight, and maybe like a piece of tape or a little rope around it or a belt.
Okay.
Tie 2 belts and make a tight roll.
All right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. What else? Well, you pretty much covered my questions with the explanation that you gave in the morning. So,
Okay.
I was going to ask if I could incorporate any exercises besides walking, because walking
For
is the only
cardio?
thing. Well, I would like some strength exercises, but based on what you said, maybe not, because I
I
would be
wouldn't.
introducing anything, something
You've been
else, right?
triggered. You at least
Yeah.
for as long as you've been triggered too easily. You could try like a recumbent bike to strengthen your quads and your legs because that's just sitting there. That would probably be good for you.
What is that? I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
Like a sitting bike or a bike.
Okay.
Even a stationary, and just pump up
Oh,
the resistance and just build some leg strength.
all right. That I
Yeah,
could do.
I
Okay.
would do that. But don't
Okay.
touch the upper body right now. You're just getting a nice window. We don't want to mess it
Yes,
up.
I am. Okay, and I didn't get the injections because when we talked on Wednesday,
Yeah.
I started getting better, so I'm going to hold off with it. The other
Okay.
exercise that that causes pain and triggers shoulder blade pain and neck pain is the deep neck flexors.
Yeah.
Which you switched for me to a chin tuck with a band.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stick with that. Don't go back to the
Okay.
deep neck flexors.
All right.
Yeah, stick with that.
Okay.
You don't need to do the deep neck flexors. Just keep doing the band one until the band one and the deep neck flexors aren't in your program anymore, and then you can
All
stop.
right. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because see, most of the other questions I have, you've answered them already with your with the explanations. So thank you
Good.
very
Well, I'm
much.
glad to hear you've had a nice stretch. So let's keep that rolling.
Yes, I hope so. Yes,
Yeah.
please pray for me.
Yes, I will.
Okay.
All right, Esther.
Thank you so much.
All right,
Doctor.
I'll talk to you soon.
I'll talk to you soon too.
Bethany?
Hey, Dr. Joe, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So I'm driving, so I can't turn on the video. I wanted to just, I just wanted to hop on here really quick and just ask 2 questions.
Yeah.
I've had some breakthrough, which is great, over the last couple of weeks of just starting the program. I think I decided 2 days ago, I put like 15-pound weights in each hand and was trying to do leg exercises. And the next day, it wasn't instant flare up, but the next day I had a flare up. Would you associate the heavy, like holding the weights in my head or in my hands, associate that with the possible flare up?
Yeah, I probably, it's a safe bet. Because just the act of having to stabilize those, kind of like I was explaining to Sujatha, the stabilizing muscles connect right up to the base of the skull. And even actually some of the collarbone ones up to the jaw also. So it's just like it's a lot of, but that's something that like, if you slowly build into that, your muscles will build a resilience, and you'll be
Yeah.
way better off in the end. But maybe it just wasn't the time for it.
Okay. And the other question, through this whole process, not the physical therapy part, but with the neck issue, I've had the term to it as like adrenaline surges when I'm trying to sleep. Have you heard of that before?
Adrenaline,
like when your
what?
body, it's almost like it surges. So almost like it's like one of those jerks, like, when you're trying to fall in a,
Yes,
when
right
you're
before you fall asleep. Yeah.
trying to fall asleep and your body, right. So when I have a flare up in my neck, I throughout the night. So it will be like periodic of an hour, and then my body rushes with adrenaline. It's like my blood's pumping. I wake up like alert, and it's totally weird. And I was curious if you had heard of this with any of your other patients with I think I have occipital neuralgia.
Yeah.
So when that tightens up, that's when it's like a fight or flight mode that my brain's in. Have you heard of anybody that dealt with this before?
Yeah. So not only nighttime, but daytime as well. Basically, and I was wondering if you were going to say dizziness or headaches, because I couldn't remember. I know you've done a call before, but I couldn't remember if it was jaw or neck. But when we start getting to that upper neck area, and then there starts being dysfunction there, it's so rich with nerves, blood vessels as well. Even the covering of the brain is actually connected up in there too. And so when you're having like flare-ups, discomfort, triggering issues, you already know that it can come with burning in the back of the head, burning eyes, pressure, almost like a hot flash kind of hot feeling.
Right.
It ties into that fight or flight response quite a bit more. That's why dizziness also can trigger. So I'll see people during the daytime who, again, kind of feel like hot, fight or flight, that sort of thing, and then difficulty sleeping. So that's what I've seen with it, and it makes sense a lot more than if you were like, I have shoulder blade pain and this happens, because it's just a different innervation. So, yeah.
Right. Okay. I mean, the exercises do seem to work. I think it was just more the heavy weights that I was like, I'm just going to try it and see what happens. But my flare up was shorter this time around, just like a 24-hour thing. And today I'm back to normal. So
that's good.
Yeah, it's
Quicker
an
recovery.
improvement for sure. Right.
What level are you in now?
4.
Okay. Yeah. You're gonna. It sounds like you're on a really good trajectory. It's just like committing to each of those levels and and again, like, if you feel like that level was really good and like, but I feel like I could get more juice out of it, do a level for 2 weeks. Like, the longer that you cement it in, the better off you're going to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. I appreciate your time.
Okay. Not a problem, Bethany. Good talking to you.
Yep. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Okay. Well, that was a good call today. I hope you guys kind of gleaned a little bit from the story I told in the beginning about using your body as the reference point and the gold standard of information as to what you should or should not be doing. Obviously, you can't make all the decisions. You don't have all the information. But, like, again, using your body as a way to extract information is important. That's what I do. That's what I did with that girl this morning, just letting her body guide me. And also, we had information that no imaging and no test could pull out. And so it's important not to underestimate that. Hopefully you have a better understanding of how we need to progress things. As you can see, everybody here, the people on the group calls typically are the ones who are problem solving. That's why you're on the group call. And you'll see a lot of people are saying the same thing. This exercise triggers, this movement triggers this. So how do we work around it? If we can solve that piece, it's like we can make so much progress. And we didn't talk a lot about nervous system today, but again, remember, everything gets hypersensitized with the nervous system. So even talking about when I was talking with Bethany, I'm already thinking like there's a hypersensitivity state that can trigger this also. Sujata's had symptoms that jump around. I know that Esther as well was at a point where everything is triggering her, right? And so it gets very confused. The girl I had in my office this morning, it's like, it was here, but now it's here. My neck hurts. It's all on the left side. That doesn't mean there's a problem in every different area. There's that nervous system piece. We didn't talk about it much today, but it's a huge piece. And so, yeah, so we had a good call. So next week will be another Q&A. Like I told everybody, download the app if you don't have it. I posted it. Look up Kajabi and then go in your app store. It's a pinned post in the community. Download the app. It's a good experience. I have been noticing some weird things are happening in the app, though, like whereas in the desktop it says like this is your exercise and has video. In the app it'll be like this is what you have to do, and then it'll be like a huge white space and then the video. So I'm going to get that solved this week. But anyway, good call. Have a good rest of your week. I think the good weather is upon us for everyone on the East Coast. We're just like teetering on this cold weather, but apparently we're supposed to have an 80-degree day soon. And have a great week. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Thank you.